Hey everyone, this is Derrick Broze of the Conscious Resistance Network, and today I just want to share with you a little bit about what's coming up for the rest of the year. Now that I'm done with my mayoral campaign, I have two big projects to get back to, and a couple of things that I want to share with you. First off, again, thank you to everybody who's been supporting my efforts, both with the Finders documentary, with the Jeffrey Epstein documentaries, with my ongoing investigations, with my mayoral campaign, with just all of my research efforts. I have not been able to write articles for the past 6 months, which really kills me, and I'm excited to get back because I love writing. Writing's my main way. I love videos, but writing is my key. I love writing documentary scripts and putting them together in books and articles and things. So I'm excited to get back to that, and excited to get back to producing these documentary films, some longer, some shorter, for you guys to continue trying to wake people up in the crazy age we're in now, where it's becoming more and more difficult to find information about the topics that I focus on and that others focus on. But I just want to say thank you to everybody who's been coming, the new subscribers and new people who are supporting on Patreon. You guys really help make this easier for me to survive, and I want this to be as clear as possible that when you support me, it's truly an investment. I could go out and get a mainstream job here in Houston if I wanted to, work at the Houston Chronicle, but I'd have somebody telling me what to write about. I'd have to work in their office. I'd have to do, I'd get paid a lot more, but it would be less freedom and less control, and not really getting to focus on the topics I want to, because we already know they wouldn't cover them. And so I would eventually be doing work that didn't make me happy. So instead, I try to focus on things that I think are important and that obviously you guys think are important. And so all I ask is that if you can help fund me, throw in $1, $5, $7 a month, and all of that together adds up to make a living that I can survive on, because there's only one outlet, The Mind Unleashed, that can still pay me for articles. And look, I'm 34 years old, about to be 35 in a couple months. Getting paid $20, $25 an article is definitely below what I would like, but I do it because I care about these issues. So I'm happy to get that extra income when I can for writing articles, but I truly rely on my Patreon supporters and those who just privately donate, and those who support us when we do our monthly, kind of bi-monthly crowdfunding that I've started to do. The last couple months, you guys helped me raise a good amount of money, and that's been keeping me going, keeping me moving forward, so that we can launch the next phase of the Conscious Resistance, a complete rebuild of the website, and new documentaries and new books, and that's what I'm going to talk to you about today. And we didn't do any fundraising for October, but we're going to do a little bit in November, December, and come 2020, we'll be able to, I believe, be working where I probably won't do any more crowdfunding for a while. I don't try to do this too often, but I have been relying on you guys because it's getting harder and harder to survive out here as somebody who's doing real journalism. I don't consider myself just a YouTuber or a news analyst. I do those kinds of videos, but I also try to dig deep and find topics that nobody's talking about. And I noticed that you guys noticed that, for example, I was ahead of the Epstein curve. I was definitely ahead of the Finders curve, or at least one of the first people to bring it back into the mainstream consciousness. And now it's everywhere, and I'm thankful for that. But I couldn't have done those things, written the Epstein documentary and paid the editor, without you guys. And I wouldn't have been able to write the Finders and investigate the Finders without you guys. And I did spend a lot of money out of pocket. All of the investments you guys put in me go towards these projects. So we're running the Support the Conscious Resistance number 3 crowdfunding campaign, trying to get $2,500, which will go towards all the projects, and again, paying an editor for the documentary. Which, let me talk about the documentary first. The documentary that I'm working on, I did come up with a name. It's called 5G, the Trojan Horse, and it is being written today, tomorrow, the coming days and weeks. I have, there you go, there's my blank sheet ready to start. I have this page, this presentation I've given here in Houston during the campaign, What is 5G? Questions, Concerns, and Solutions, that kinds of outlines what the documentary is going to be about. It's going to cover the history of FCC regulation and how the FCC got corrupt, and what are the generations of cellular technology, and what does that mean, and what are the concerns around 5G, including health, privacy, and local control, environmental, and just all the different aspects of it, and then of course solutions. And I'm trying to do this in 30 minutes or less. If we have to go a full hour, we will, but it's going to be focused on 5G, the Trojan Horse, really trying to wake people up to a lot of the things I've discovered in my year of interviewing experts and just doing massive research. And we're going to talk about the safety of radio frequency radiation in general and EMFs, and we're going to talk about corruption at the FCC, and we're going to talk about how Harvard has said that the FCC is a captured agency among others that are completely controlled by the agencies they're supposed to regulate. So we're going to get into all that stuff, and it's going to be a really explosive documentary. I think it'll be the best presentation that concisely puts all the information together that you need. And it starts right here with a blank slate that I'll be dedicating. As you're watching this, I'm driving out into the forest of Houston. There's Sam Houston Forest, about an hour and a half, almost 2 hours north of Houston, where I live. I'm going to spend the next week in the forest, some time to decompress since the end of the campaign. It's been really stressful for the last 5.5 months and really awesome, but also moving into an RV, different evolutions in relationships and just life in general, and also the conclusion of my 34th year coming up to 35. Not to get too deep in this video that's meant to be short, but some of you may have heard me talk in the past about seeing my life in chapters of 7 from a deep meditation I had years ago, and it's always worked out that way. For some reason, lots of big things start and come to conclusions at the end of the chapters. And so from 28 to 34 has been the most recent 7-year chapter, and a lot of my life has changed in that time period, as you can imagine, doing the things that I'm doing. And so it seems like a nice way to go spend some time in the forest, be alone for a bit. I got some solar panels and a solar battery and some other things, and I'm going to be charging my laptop and writing the 5G script and putting it all together, and coming back to you guys with lots of videos and lots more excitement. My other project that I want to mention is Counter Economics, how to opt out of the Technocratic State. I might eventually just drop the whole Counter Economics, although it's a tribute to Samuel Edward Konkin III, the founder of agorism. And for those who are hearing this for the first time, please go check out my playlist on agorism, counter economics, and freedom cells and things of that sort. But it's basically going to take some of the work of Konkin and explain how does one opt out and live a counter-economic lifestyle in the age of Big Brother, the surveillance state, the technocracy. If you watch my just recent video on the smart city and the Sidewalk Labs, Google's company, their vision for a smart city, how do you opt out in a world like that where you're going to be denied services just for not participating? And we're going to talk all about that, how to opt out of the technocratic state. What is the solution for that? And I've got some big ideas. I'm really excited to talk about that, to explore the technocratic movement, the technocracy, the history of that concept, and where we're at now and moving into the smart grid, the 5G surveillance world. So both projects are kind of related to those similar topics. One just on 5G and the bigger implications of that. And then the book is more about how to opt out of those systems as we move into that future where that becomes normalized. So I'm going to be working on this. And again, I don't have an agent or somebody who's paying me big bucks so I can slow down and focus on this. But you can see I've already written 50,000 words. I've got most of the chapters written. I'm just going to scroll through here real quick. I've got a lot of information in here already, and I'm trying to get all this done by the end of this month, if not this next week for sure. The book will be out in December of this year, because this will be my 5th year of releasing a book. And I don't know, I want to kind of keep the tradition going. For those who don't know, 2015, 16, and 17, I co-authored the Conscious Resistance Trilogy with John Vibes. You can find those books and download them for free on the Conscious Resistance website right here at Books. And 2015, 16, and 17, then in 2018, I released my first solo book called The Holistic Self-Assessment, which is more like a self-guide and self-empowerment guide. I definitely recommend checking out all of them. You can download all of them for free. And the audio books are all on the YouTube channel and BitChute as well. You can find them there. And so if I release Counter Economics, this will be my 5th year of releasing a book, and I already have a book planned for next year, and we'll talk more about that in the future. But yeah, so what I'm asking for you is I travel out into the forest for the next week to sit down and focus on exposing 5G and writing it in a cohesive way that can wake more people up, and writing this book that can be a manual for maybe a lot of us in the future. I'm asking your support. Invest in me, invest in this work, invest in the future of the Conscious Resistance Network by going to our crowdfunding link or joining our Patreon page or doing whatever you can. And I appreciate everybody who's taken time to listen to this, who has followed my work, who continues to join. And if you want to be a contributor, feel free to reach out to me at derrick@theconsciousresistance.com, and let's get connected. Let's work together. I'm going to leave it there, guys. I'll be in the forest for the next week, but I'll be back with lots of new exciting ideas and new work and new stories. Till then, remember, you're powerful, you're beautiful, you're free. Peace.